What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's vlog, I'm just going to do a story time. I've had some requests for some story time videos, so I thought today would be a perfect day for that because I'm worn out from the weekend, Friday and Saturday, having to drive to Dublin and back and then just being gone for a while. Super fun time, but it was very exhausting. So I kind of want to just relax today for a little bit, maybe play some NBA 2K, watch some football, and just kind of hang out because I am worn out and I got to go back to work tomorrow. So today we are going to talk about GameStop. Now, before you fully X off the video because you're like, oh man, you always talk about GameStop and it's always so negative. That is true, but today I actually want to do something opposite. I want to look at the positive and fun times I had there. Yes, I trash GameStop a lot, and that's because of my experience there, but it's not fair to say that it was all negative. I had some really great times and made some really great friends working there, and that's what I want to talk about today is the positives. I made many awesome friends at GameStop. I've mentioned that before. So many people that I couldn't even really name them in this video. If you're watching this and you used to come in and talk at GameStop and you don't hear your name, it's not because I don't remember you or anything. It's just because this video would be so many hours long if I talked about every single awesome thing that happened, so don't take that the wrong way or anything. But today I just want to focus on just a couple of things just to show you guys that not all of it is bad. First and foremost, GameStop, most of the people that I talk, not all, like my buddy Justin and my buddy Andrew, and there's a whole bunch of people that I did know before GameStop that I went to school with. Like Andrew's, I've known him since kindergarten. We've been best friends since kindergarten. Justin, I became really good friends with in high school and stuff like that. But there are a lot of people that I know through GameStop that I interact with, I don't want to say daily because that would be lying. I try to interact with as much as possible. They'll send me messages, I'll send them messages. My buddy Gabe, well, he was actually my boss there at one point, and super good friend. Harvey, who I made the movie with, I knew him kind of before, just from different things and stuff, but like him coming in GameStop is kind of what, you know, helped us form our friendship and talk about movies and stuff like that. Nate, who's like one of my best friends ever, like met him through GameStop. So there's a lot of awesome stuff like that. My buddy, oh man, one of my favorite people that I ever met was Big Lee. Maybe I might try to tell a Big Lee story. Lee is one of my favorite people on the planet as well, and so there's a lot of awesome people. I know CJ, he watches these videos as well. Met him through there. So there's a ton of awesome people that I met through GameStop. And these people you would meet and you would become friends with to the point to where, like for example, Lee, he would come into the store not even to shop. Like he would just come in to talk to me and Gabe or me and John, or any of the people there. Like Lee just loved to come and chat. He was like a friend. Like it wasn't like a customer. Like you got to know somebody to where they were a friend. And I can remember becoming friends with Lee to the point of we'd go to his house, hang out, we'd do Halo tournaments with him, and like Lee's son Brent, who also I'm good friends with, like who I met through GameStop, we'd play Halo with him, and I can remember Brent killing us all, man. Brent was so good at that game, it was ridiculous. Like I can remember like talking to Lee and being like, you need to convince him to do Halo tournaments, man, because he is so good. But Brent, I don't think he really wanted to do that. Brent does some music stuff now. Super talented guy, man. I'll leave a link to like his music page in the description below. Definitely check that out because he's super talented. But you meet a ton of people and do some fun stuff, and so going to Lee's house, you were always like, man, I mean, just treated you like royalty, like just such a super good guy, you know what I mean? Versus your average person that would come in there that may just be rude or whatever. Like it was so cool to just become friends with people like this, and I hung out with Lee a lot. Like we'd go to his house, like I said, do Halo tournaments, watch movies. Lee is who introduced me to, I'd never heard of him before, but Lee introduced me to the awesomeness, or perhaps lack thereof, depending on who you are, of G.G. Allin. Like I'd never heard of G.G. Allin until Lee was like, dude, you gotta watch this documentary. So like he introduced me to a lot of really cool stuff. And then also, by working at GameStop, it actually rekindled, whichever one is grammatically correct there, or maybe neither of them are. But my friendship with Evan I knew since middle school, and then once we got to high school, in high school we had 2 classes together throughout the entire 4 years. I think just 2, maybe 1 actually. I think it was U.S. government. But anyway, and it's not that I didn't want to spend time with Evan or anything, but honestly, it's like you just kind of grow apart. Like they're doing something different, and you're never in classes together, and you just kind of grow apart. And then he would come in GameStop and hang out and chat. He was huge. He's still a huge retro game fan and collector. Like I know in Japan now he's collecting a bunch of Neo Geo stuff and stuff like that, which is awesome. But he would come in and then, you know, it'd just be like, oh dude, you know, hey, that's cool that you're working here, what's going on? And it was cool. It was easy for me to talk to him because I knew him. And then, you know, one thing led to another. Just like, hey, you know, come over to the house and let's play some games and stuff. And that is actually what kind of redeveloped our friendship, is working at GameStop. Perhaps one of the most important things of working at GameStop, and I have discussed this, I think, briefly in the past, but I'll say it again because it is super important. But honestly, probably the reason that I'm married is because I worked at GameStop. I worked at GameStop with Cindy, who is best friends with Tracy. So if I didn't work at GameStop, I would not have met Cindy. Therefore, I would not have met Tracy because I met Tracy through Cindy. So that is another awesome thing that happened. Cindy would do like just little house get-togethers and stuff. I don't want to say like a house party because that gives you the idea that everybody just got together and just got ungodly trashed and stuff, and that's not necessarily what happens. So you just go and hang out and stuff like that. And then Cindy, she moved away for a little bit and then she moved back, and then she would be like, hey, you know, come hang out. I'm at Tracy's house or whatever, and so I would go and hang out with her, and I met Tracy through her. So again, that's another super awesome thing that happened, is meeting my future wife, technically via GameStop, because it came from somebody that I only met because of GameStop. And employee-wise, you know, working with people like John and Gabe, my buddy Adam Mitchell, who I actually lived with for a little bit. Like, I've met a lot of great people, and I can remember going. John never was a big movie goer. Like he did go see 300 with us, but we would go see movies and stuff together, man. I remember going to Gabe's house launch night for Gears, and I went to Gabe's house a bunch. We'd watch movies, or I remember watching Super Bowls at his house and stuff. But the night Gears of War came out, I can remember we went there, and it was me and Gabe and a guy named Rob, and we were playing through the campaign multiplayer, man, and Rob kept dying. And so basically what we would do is like, Rob would die in the first like 10 seconds of the level, and then people would just go through clearing the level of all the bad guys, and then come back and revive him and then take him. Like, you had to like child-proof it for him. So that was super funny, man. That's like one of the most vivid memories for me. Fun fact on that also is, everybody bought the collector's edition of that game, and that game, I think it was the collector's edition it was lost in like travel to every store. Every store got it a day late. And my buddy Jordan, who also I met through GameStop, whom I lived with also for a little bit, he was like, nah man, I'm not buying that, like I just want the regular edition. And because he got the regular edition, that's why we got it and got to play that night, because they shipped the regular editions and the collector's editions didn't come in until the following day. My buddy Madison, who I talk about going to meet and hang out, and we go back and forth on the sports podcast, even though he's related to Tracy, I actually knew him before Tracy. He would come into the store and hang out and stuff, and you know, we would just hang out a couple times. And it wasn't until a few months into dating Tracy when I was like, hey, I'm gonna go, you know, meet my buddy Madison. And she's like, oh, how do you know him? And I was like, oh, through the store. And she's like, that's my cousin. So that's kind of a small world kind of thing, because I obviously would have met him otherwise. But yeah, man, so that's another guy. And Madison I talk to a lot too, so that's just another example of like somebody I met through there that I engage with on a regular basis. My boss John loved skateboarding. It got me into skateboarding a little bit. I loved to do it, but I never really got into it too much, like, because I knew that I couldn't do it. But I would try to skateboard, and I can remember our before we moved locations, we had such a huge back room, and I can remember the back room being so, like, after we would close store and stuff, we would sit back there, and like the back room was so big. The back room was bigger than our storefront. And I know traditionally GameStops are smaller. This was an EB game, so it was already a big storefront. And we would just skateboard out there, man, or back there, I should say, like just in the back room. John was so good at skating, man. He would just manual around the room just consistently, just not stop. And I can remember, I remember being like, my God, you're so good at that. And he was like, no, I'm all right, man. And then we would go outside, and he would pop, you know, go up into a manual, and he would drop off the ledge of the sidewalk, manual across the road, ollie up onto this thing, and just manual all the way down the sidewalk. It was really, really crazy. And I actually went to a skate park with John, man, and when he would go up on like the kickbox and stuff, dude, he would just kill it. It was crazy. Like, that's the first time I've ever seen in person somebody that awesome at skating. And of course Matt, who I ran the 10K with 2 weeks ago. He took over the store when an old manager, Mike, left, who also loved Mike. Mike's an awesome dude. he came in and took over, and I obviously met him through GameStop. So that's just another person that I met through. It's so many good people, man. So many people that, like I said, that I interact with still as much as possible, like regularly. Also, remember when the game Skate came out, John would put it in the he would put it in the system, and we'd play it, and we were right next door, not right next door, there was 2 doors down. There was a Mexican restaurant, and the owner's kids loved skateboarding, and they would always come up and play the games and just talk skating. Like, I don't know, man, it was just like working there it was just like a different culture from normal GameStops. And I'm sure people around the country are probably like, oh no, I interact with my GameStop and places like that, but it just seems like that doesn't happen as much anymore because everybody's in that robotic, I've got to sell you stuff, and if not, I could lose my job type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, it was just so awesome, man. We tried to have just such an awesome store and interact with people, and it, you know, it showed off, man. Like, people loved to come to our store. They would drive from so many different areas just to come to our store, man. And like I said, just becoming friends with people, just giving you stuff, bringing you food or whatever, man. Just so many good times. But I think I'm going to end that video there. I might do a part 2 to this series. I say that a lot, but there's just so many good times that I had there, man. And I just wanted to talk about some of the positives because, again, I talk about the negatives all the time because I know that people like to hear that stuff. Like how, you know, because you think it's one thing and it's not at all. So I just wanted to touch on some of the positives, man. Like, and again, that doesn't even scratch the surface of all the good times I had and some of the other stories that I have. But yeah, man, that's just some of the awesome stuff that happened. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. I really hope you do, because like I said, it's fun to relive some of that stuff. Like I said, overall, as negative as it was, I can't say that it was a worthless opportunity because of just the good people that I met and the good times that I had at that point in my life. And that's a huge chapter in my life, man. It was 8 years, so had a very good time. So, but guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.